We've got a Europa League match here with Leverkusen against West Ham, and Leverkusen here strong odds on favourite, and also the market's really favouring goals, 1.63 on over 2.5 goals. So let me show you what we covered in the correct score market. And in fact, you know what, let's quickly go back to the match odds market. Let me show you something. Look, if we're going to back Leverkusen, £100 stake, it's going to give us £43 of profit potential. But head to that correct score market, that same £100 stake pretty much back in Leverkusen has increased to a £63 profit potential. But also we've got our plan B in there, the 0-1 to West Ham, and also that 1-1. And also we've got the ability to trade depending how that match is going to develop. So anyway, it's going to be interesting. Strap yourself in. It's Leverkusen against West Ham from the Europa League. Just reached half-time in this one. It is Leverkusen 0, West Ham 0. And you can see that price on Leverkusen still there, still pretty short. This is how the correct score market is currently looking. So we're in a pretty good position because remember, we've got 0-1 and 1-0 covered. So any goal puts us on a green scoreline and we can potentially take action at that particular point. Are we worried about the 0-0? I've just had a quick look at the XG off the screen, and I can see that the XG is indicating Leverkusen should be 2-0 up. So we are pretty confident of getting a goal in this one. No need to worry about that 0-0. And let's see what happens. Let's see what happens in the second half. It is 0-0 at half-time. It's taken till the 85th minute, but we finally got the breakthrough. It's Bayer Leverkusen 1, West Ham 0. We're on that 1-0 scoreline, as you can see. We've got 28 to potentially lock in. But anyway, we're going to try and see what we can do about leveraging us up to a bigger profit. Okay, so let's just put in a lay in the market, which is going to remove all the risk at the same time. So all the risk is going to be gone once that's taken. And it will put us in a position where that second goal will be the money goal. Okay, it should leverage us up very nicely. Anyway, trying to get that taken. The market's bouncing around. It's slowly but surely being taken, as you can see. And maybe we're not going to get it taken on this clip. But anyway, you can see the lay is in there at 1.37. And anyway, we're here. We finally got the goal that we were expecting. We've been expecting that one for a long time. Bayer Leverkusen 1, West Ham 0. We're heading into the final stages of this one, and we're looking for another goal to increase our profits. 91 minutes on the clock. Leverkusen have doubled the lead. It is now 2-0 to Leverkusen. As you can see, we're on that 2-0 scoreline. Not really much action that we probably need to take. It's probably the final goal of the match. But anyway, let's go in with just another lay and just sacrifice a little bit of that profit. If we can get a bonus goal, that would be very, very nice. But as you can see, we've landed on that 2-0 and 154 of profit if it remains 2-0 to Leverkusen. And if not, 2-1. We've got 263, and the same for the 3-0 and the 3-1. Okay, so anyway, you saw at half time that we weren't worried about the 0-0 on this one. The XG was telling us that this should be a 2-0 win to Leverkusen, and here we are, late stages, 2-0 to Leverkusen. And you saw, most importantly, how we leveraged up the trade. Okay, we took the profit that was on the 1-0 and we leveraged it up to put it on the next possible score lines, and we've come out with a very nice profit. Okay, £100 of risk, looking like a 150% return on our stake, which is very nice when you're trading football. So that is pretty much it. Okay, I think that's going to be the final score. Leverkusen 2, West Ham 0. So it's fair to say that match of Leverkusen and West Ham, it might be a bit of a cliche, but it's definitely a good example of patience being a virtue. Okay, the Leverkusen opening goal did arrive pretty late, and there might have been a lot of people freaking out about that and trying to maybe get out of the trade early or just think of other stuff they could do. However, we were pretty confident of getting the goal. Okay, we could see from the XG at half time that Leverkusen were well overdue the goal. And of course, if you were really worried about the 0-0, there is stuff you can do in the correct score market. Now, for me, I wasn't worried about the 0-0 in this match at all. That's not to say it wasn't going to finish 0-0, okay? It could have finished 0-0, and you just be willing to just take the loss, okay, if it came. If it did finish 0-0, even though everything else was indicating otherwise, you just have to take that loss, move on to the next one, okay? I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you have a loss, it's not the end of the world, all right? There's a lot of people out here who just seem to be so afraid of taking a loss, they'd almost not want to trade at all. But anyway, this one, yeah, definitely a good example. Patience is a virtue, but also just to keep in mind, I mean, look, when Leverkusen went 1-0 up, and it was so late in the match, you might have been inclined to just leave it, okay? We still had a lot of the other score lines covered, so you might just leave it at that point. But I would say always try and leverage up. Try and look for the next goal, okay? I've laid correct scores well below 1.10 and seen further goals, and you leverage up very, very nicely. You never know when that late bonus goal is going to come, and so always put yourself in a position to leverage up, and it worked out very, very nicely in that particular match, as you saw there, okay? So we laid off the 1-0, and we were in a position where we were going to make a profit on that 1-0, but we pretty much, what was it, 6x'd or 7x'd that profit by getting that second goal and leveraged it up very, very nicely, okay? So anyway, that's just my thoughts on that. You don't necessarily have to do it, but it worked out very nicely on this particular trade, okay? So Leverkusen against West Ham, 150% return on our initial risk. And as said earlier, if any of this correct score trading looks interesting to you, you want to learn more about it, make sure you get this free download. It's the Correct Score Mastery course prospectus. This will show you how you could potentially take things to the next level with your correct score trading. To get this free ebook, the link is in the description of this video. Just scroll below the video, click on it, fill out the form, and then we'll email the book to you. If you're on a big screen, you can scan that QR code and then fill out the form, and we'll email you the book also, okay? It's absolutely free, and it will be the next step towards potentially learning and mastering the correct score market. So if you've liked anything you've seen today and you do want to learn more about it, then that's the next thing to do, okay? Go grab a copy of that. As said, link in the description, or scan the QR code. And what you've just seen was actually just a clip, and we've got plenty more where that came on. So the video on the screen right about now should direct you to the full video where you can get more information, see more live trades, more analysis, how they played out, etc., etc. So go click on that video, and we will see you in that next video. It's highly, highly recommended. Go check it out.